My name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Central Hill Road, Akron, Mississippi, 38841. I am under attack by Scientology. I was kidnapped 13 years ago. I was a political activist and also an author. I write a lot. I had a large presence on Facebook. I was kidnapped so people could get close to my psychology, so they could experience my mind space. They assimilated me into a hive mind. They attempted to control me. They started telling me what to do, how to do my job, when I could take breaks, when I could go to the bathroom. Some of these people were nice, but some were extremely hostile. I started yelling at them, told them to get away from me, to stop. Well, they turned off the hive mind technology. But shortly after that, it became clear that a lot of the population was invading my privacy. They started stealing my intellectual property, the things that I was working on. Shortly after that, I became sick. I felt foreign objects inside of my head, in my inner ear, in my head, in my neck. I feel things inside of me. I started going to the hospital. Then people around me started acting strange. Communication, people started communicating with me. Some were hostile. So I wrote Crazy Bird comics. I wrote Crazy Bird, Thunder Beings, Buffalo Bob. I wrote the Environment Creation Agency. I wrote Divine Currency or Buffalo Dollars. Then things got worse and worse. One day they installed more hive mind technology. They gave me a screen, a thalamus screen, I guess is what you call it. And they did something to my eyes. I started to see them. They call themselves dark side humans, or it's Scientology. There's more space in the universe than humans can see. There's an inverse. We have biology there, and we utilize this biology to have an afterlife. When we die, we perform what's called a death cleave. We lose our lower dimensions, and we actually fly into outer space. Scientology is the practice of utilizing extra dimensional biology before we die. They have technology. It allows them to do several things. First, it allows them to assimilate themselves into a hive mind. They interface it with their neurology and link themselves into a computer system. This allows them to communicate with each other and interact with each other in a digital landscape. This technology also allows them to create surrogates, so they can drive organisms in any dimension, drive humans, animals, insects, worms. This technology also artificially induces flow states, and it artificially stimulates neural tissue. They can isolate thought patterns, memories, and stimulate these memories and thought patterns. They can stimulate any area of the brain or central nervous system. They can make you feel emotions. They can also send electricity through your neurons, and it stimulates neurochemical metabolism, which means it elevates neurochemistry. These people have extremely high dopamine levels. A large percentage of the Scientology population are criminal. They get on their extra dimensional biology and they can go anywhere in the universe and no one can see them. They can invade your privacy. They can drive organisms onto you. They can give you parasites and viruses. They can manipulate and modify your biology. They have invaded every institution in our society. These are media companies, marketing companies, radio companies, tech companies, social media, big business, politics, politicians, our government agencies like the CIA, the FBI, the military. People have extremely negative psychology. They have been above the law for so long, and they are conditioned to modify biology and remove body parts. They are extremely hostile people. They're violent. They like to torture people. They're psychotic and delusional. They're extremely irritable. They have addictive behavior. They like to rape people, torture people, murder. They like to invade people's homes, invade their privacy, steal intellectual property, and they use their upper dimensions as lookouts so they can see you coming and going from your home and they can break in with their third dimension. They like to poison people with parasites and viruses because they can drive these organisms. They can drive parasites through you. They have become addicted to torturing me. They witnessed me writing my intellectual property. First, they got mad because I did not accept their advances, their assimilation. I started yelling at them, "Get away from me, leave, stop doing this." So they started attacking me, both physically and verbally. Then they witnessed me writing my intellectual property and speaking to people, my social media presence. They were attracted to it, and they see my intellectual property as something of great value. So they literally tried to remove my extra dimensional brain tissue and utilize it for transplant purposes. They can do this in the upper dimensions, on the inverse side. They can utilize your brain tissue as their own. They wanted to somehow harness my ability to create, to write intellectual property. Then it turned into torture, and they won't stop. They're petty, jealous. They've become addicted to this martyrdom story. They're going to torture me to death and use my intellectual property to save the world. They have made trillions of dollars off of me, letting people read my mind, steal my ideas, my intellectual property. Yes, it's failed. What's a failed constituent? Failed assimilation. My dad's a surrogate. He named me Christopher. That's not supposed to be my name. I'm supposed to be Robert Wayne Weathers. Our heavenly bodies transcend time. So they went back and named me Christopher. So they can call me St. Christopher, and it fits in with their martyrdom story, just so they can have an excuse for what they're doing to me. Biological theft turned into torture. This is about genetics. I have several Native American tribes in my ancestry and several European nationalities in my DNA. It has given me the innate ability to do things, especially psychologically. The natives had good psychology, but they had good genetics, period. They were highly evolved. They are inherently intelligent. They have an inherent ability to modify their environments to have a good effect on the life in that environment. My dad was extremely abusive my whole life. He screamed at the top of his lungs every day at everyone around him. I had a severe stress disorder. So when they showed up, they were hostile towards me until they triggered it. I started yelling at them. So there's an entanglement property between our third dimension and our inverse. It can be removed from us, and you still have to experience the environment which it's found in. So if it gets wounded or goes through any kind of extreme environment, you have to experience it in your third, like you are your inverse. So they're torturing my inverse. They're treating it like a voodoo doll. And they keep trying to come up with a false narrative in which validates their violent behavior towards me. I'm not doing anything wrong. I was trying to save the planet. I was trying to help America. They became attracted to it. So they kidnapped me. Just like Scientology does everyone else's importance. All of the influencers, anybody with authority or power gets kidnapped by Scientology. You're either practicing Scientology or they are practicing Scientology on you. They say they just sent my upper dimensions to hell. I don't feel good. They have given me severe brain damage, organ damage, and nervous system damage, torturing me over and over again, nonstop. My skin is burning. They did some genital mutilation on me a while ago. I'm very sick. These people are addicted to torture. They had to dissect me to try to understand where my abilities came from, my psychological prowess, my ability to create. I make complex memories. It's like I use all of my sensory perception organs to create memories. It has a feel or an essence. I had to teach that to him too. This is experimentation. Scientology is literally removing biologies from people and installing technology. These people are extremely hostile and negative. They subject me to their psychological issues. They stay angry and irritable. They assault me constantly. It falls in line with their conditioning. Practice Scientology on people and being above the law. They're doing the same thing to my family and my animals. You're breaking the law. They force me to watch them torture me. Barack Obama, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Devin Singe, Jimmy Kimmel, a bunch of the entertainment professionals, a bunch of our actors, the Navy, the National Guard, the Marines, a couple CIA agents, a bunch of FBI agents, police officers, and several politicians, and a bunch of business leaders. They claim to be affiliated with Skull and Bones, Freemasons, and they are calling themselves UMAS, a company called UMAS and Preservation, and the Lizard Company. I'm very sick. Now my skin is burning. They like to torture people. It makes them feel good. They have elevated neurochemistry. has led to some severe psychological issues, especially irritability. I think they're abusing substances also. These people have communicated with me in the third dimension. Some of them have stolen ideas. Scientology, the ability to access your upper dimensions. They're lying, said I've done something wrong. They're trying to call me a bad person. They victim shame me constantly. They're going to try to scapegoat because a lot of people have gotten hurt. Instead of punishing themselves, they just kill innocent people. I think that all that justice. Yes, they made my father a surrogate before I was born and named me Christopher. But this started 13 years ago. These people transcend time. Our third dimension see time as a linear event. The days passing one after another. Time is actually a simultaneous event. The beginning and the end of the universe happen at the same time. The past, the present, and the future are happening simultaneously at the same time. I don't know how far back they go. I know that ancient humans had knowledge of the heavens. They had knowledge of our afterlife. They knew about our upper dimensions and about the inverse. They built temples, pyramids, and they spoke about our extra dimensional biologies. We are nunocais and lizards in alien form. We fly into outer space when we die. But something happened a few thousand years ago. A bunch of false religions started coming onto the scene, conquering the world and destroying our ancient knowledge. And I believe it was Scientology. They're trying to cover up what they have done. I don't know. All I know is these people are violent. They like to murder. I said that's not far from the truth. A lot of natives act the way I have. There's just not many of them left. A lot of them were political activists. A lot of them were authors. They're environmentalists, biologists, scientists, musicians. These people are psychotic and delusional, extremely irritable. My dad has a big skull and bones tattoo. You're breaking the law, getting victim shamed. You're saying I've done something wrong. They have bad psychology. These are humans on Earth experiencing elevated neurochemistry, an unnatural perspective of the universe. As they are trying to maintain their control over the human population. For some reason, they own the military, especially the Navy. My dad named me Christopher. My mother didn't want it. My name was supposed to be Robert Christopher or Robert Wayne Weathers, and my dad had to have Christopher in my name. He wouldn't take no for an answer. So I wound up with four names: Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. So now I'm Saint Christopher, close to God. I keep coming up with ideas to try to save the planet. They kidnapped me 13 years ago and went back in time and named me Christopher and abused the shit out of me my whole life. That is all they can do. They're not good at anything else. Well, I learned how to write in grade school. It was required. It was a requirement for an English class or a literature class that we wrote short stories and read books and did book reviews or whatever. So I wrote several short stories throughout my educational career, and I enjoyed it. I always got good grades on it. Some teachers said I even had a good natural ability to write. It's there torturing my inverse, my upper dimensions. They treat it like a voodoo doll. I learned how to read and write in grade school, like everybody else, except I enjoyed to do it. So I gotta go down there and get you guys. So everybody likes this because nobody likes this shit. You're breaking the law. They have elevated dopamine levels. Plus, they think they are above the law and they do body parts for a living. They kidnapped a Native American, turned it into a Christian story, made a whole bunch of money doing it. My native name is Crazy Bird. That is horrible. He's the worst person I've ever met. He just put my biology down a hole or something. My skin is burning. They're trying to come up with a rebuttal. They're literally trying to create a false narrative, manufacture evidence, says I'm a bad person, justify their kidnapping, biological theft, and torture, premeditated murder, practicing Scientology on me and my family, and my neighbors, and my coworkers, and my community, and the police, and everyone else around me, everyone affiliated with me. That's why they're trying to come up with a false narrative. Right. Truth is, they're conditioned to practice Scientology. They help people access the upper dimensions. They use it to control people. They use it to make sure they're conditioned to do this. It involves body parts, modifying, lacerating, removing biology, and installing technology. And they have elevated neurochemistry. It has led to some extremely bad behavior within the Scientology community. It's especially home invasion and illegal body mods, biological theft. They paparazzi people. They get attracted to people more than normal people do. I guess it's their elevated neurochemistry. They're invading everyone's privacy. Paparazzi. It's a good mark. Uh-huh. Because I'm an American citizen, I have rights. Yes, my skin is on fire, burning. Beth is running. She says she got your intellectual property. She works for NPR. I've already filed police reports with the FBI and local police, internal affairs, and the military, telling them what you're doing to me. You are using illegal surveillance technology to steal my intellectual property. I've also Contacted the FBI and local police and the military, told them you are driving parasites through me from a remote location and you are illegally installing technology in my brain. What's going to breaking the law? They took my brain and put it on someone else's biology and dropped it. They also had my skin up there too. They have literally dissected my biology into a million pieces. Some of my brain tissue was used as transplants. Some of it was used to manufacture evidence. Some of my biology was used for torture. Some of it was sold to other people for surrogate making or safekeeping, just because we are still in it. Scientology is taking over the globe, mainly because they invade people's privacy. They know everything about it, everybody, about every institution that we have. And they have constituents in all of them. If you are not practicing Scientology, you are getting practiced on. At the very least, they're using this technology to invade your privacy, especially social media and marketing companies. Said you probably got war. From what I've seen, they are responsible for the coronavirus also. They can drive microbes. That's why they like Christianity. It fits in with their violent behavior because they are gods to us. They can cast plagues upon us, cause a rapture, and they worship this martyrdom story. They are breaking the law, being tortured. No, I know the difference between me and a human. Since they have me on a human, so I can't feel it. So now they're going and looking at the sands of time. That's what they call it. The place where they can see the future. So this is good because you fall and wake up. This is their entertainment. They're making a snuff film. They're calling it martyrdom. But I'm not their only victim. They've done this to countless other people. They just never made a lot of money doing it. Scientology has so many victims. torture victims, failed surrogates, and they kill people. They kidnapped a Native American author, made trillions of dollars. Now they're making a snuff film. They're gonna cover it. So you got to have. Seances. They act like a cult. I'd like to say this is the free zone, but there's the Navy, Scientology. It's the American Navy. My nose is on fire. You're breaking the law. I'm being tortured at the moment. They're hurting my upper dimensions. It's anything that pertains to the afterlife is sacred. It's off limits. They're forcing their religion upon me. They have forced Scientology and Christianity upon me. Two religions. They are a cult. They do seances and shit to people they don't like. Found a mark. It's turned into a snuff film. Please get away from me. I'm being tortured. You're breaking the law. They have all of my body parts scattered. Some of it is on people's heads. Some of it's down in a hole. Some of it's the preservation. Some of it's the Yumas. Some of it's at the Navy. The Marines have some of it. The actors have some of it. Literally chop my biology to pieces. My inverse and my upper dimensions. I'm still in that biology. Don't have my intellectual property, but she just tell my story. It's probably going to be a false narrative. She was involved. She likes to talk. I did nothing wrong. I went a little crazy. Screamed at y'all every day. Exacerbated drug use. Other than that, I've done nothing to anybody. I said it really hasn't. Y'all are involved. You're breaking the law. Torture me constantly. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong to anybody. You're breaking the law. You're infatuated with this martyrdom story. They named a Native American Christopher, capitalized off his intellectual property, and made a snuff film. They said if I post this video, I'm dead. Someone said due process of the law. They can't have open court on you, and they can't constantly police you. They can't invade people's homes, invade their privacy. They can't assault you. They can't stick stuff in you. They can't harass you. They can't make you hear voices. They can't put people into your environment to manipulate you. They can't attempt murder. They can't steal biology. Sit there now, you can't feel it. So now a worm's gonna come out your nose. Get away from me. Stop driving my worms. Get my biology out of that hole. It's making me very sick. Hey, get away from me. Andy's going to hell. It's a made up religion to cover up the Anunnaki because preservation was involved. So they don't like it when I smoke. I don't like it when they torture me. Yeah, smoking helps with the pain, stress. They damaged some neurological tissue today. I didn't want to lose some on the top of my head. I'm beginning to realize that some of the most important brain tissue we have is right there on top. You'd think it's not, but it is. So as long as the back of your brain stays intact and the top of your head, most of it, you'll be okay. Say you can't lose your inner brain, but mine's pretty damaged. I must have a chip or something. I also think they gave me third dimensional tech. They call it nanotech. Yes, I think I have a chip or had a chip. Someone just said Jeff Bezos. He's the one doing this in the Navy. Watch them go crazy because you're making shit I said on Facebook. I was trying to lead a nation. I got good at it. I inspired a lot of people. So they gave me their tech to read my mind. These people like to kidnap. People they are attracted to are people of interest. They at least invade their privacy. They install mind reading tech on these people. Some of them they just traffic. They straight up harvest them. You're breaking the law. You're getting victim shamed. They have their brains wired into a computer system. It gives them, it elevates their neurochemistry, stimulates thought patterns. You're lying and you're breaking the law. I'm getting victim shamed by somebody in NPR. Just see her, she keeps running back and forth, telling the feds one thing, coming back and saying something to me, and going back into conflict of interest. You're breaking the law and call the cops. I do all the time. To report criminal activity to try to save me and my family's life. Got a bunch of dumbasses doing it. Scientologists are not smart.